I'm David. I'm a radiographer with the NHS Highland, 29 now. I'm a diagnostic radiographer, so my duties are to do generally X-rays, CT scans. It was that I was quite good at the computing side of things, and it's about wanting to put it into a practical application. For me personally, it's actually the interesting workload that you see, the patient, the variety. You could be witnessing massive trauma in A&E, you could be in theatre. It kind of feels like you're doing something so important for so many people, and it's such a major thing for them, and you're indispensable to them away. I know it sounds very big-headed. I don't think I would ever find sitting behind the computer looking at spreadsheets anywhere near as interesting as all these details of people's lives, of people's health, and it's all very personal, and it's all very, to me, it's all very fascinating. So I have a few adaptations, and these were obtained by Access to Work, who employ an assessor to come to your workplace or to your university. And a couple of things that I was recommended. Throughout my education, I had the FM Genie, a big body-worn microphone, which I found to be really good, really useful when I was in education. But you can imagine that wouldn't be so useful in the sterile operating theatre environment, which we sometimes have to work in. So one of the things I have had is Roger Pen. I also had an Oticons equivalent as well. And so you can imagine this is a lot more subtle to be worn underneath the sterile gowns and lead gowns and lead thyroid collars that were worn as well. So one more adaptation I want to talk about is this thing, the iBell 2. So often with being a radiographer, I'm on call a lot through nights. To hear the phone go off on call at night, this device here, it's battery powered, don't need to plug it into anything. And the idea is that the phone sits on this cradle here, and when the team in A&E called me, the vibrations of the phone going off will be enough to trigger strobe lighting here, and rather more importantly, a vibrating pad which goes underneath the pillow. To this day, the hardest thing for me is the telephones. Fortunately, in my situation, I'm working with a large team, quite a small team of people in this case, actually, who all know me, who all understand me, and all quite willing to take phone calls for me because I am useless and terrible with the phone. So that, I would say, is the main barrier that I find, and the main one that I struggle to adapt to. The number one thing I would say is get some work experience. I think practically all university courses, before taking you in, before interviewing you, would ask that you have spent a day or two in work experience in an X-ray department. And I think that's really, really important. The other thing I would say is really try and be aware of what your strengths are. It's really hard. Like for me, I knew my strength was computing, and actually radiography isn't my first thing I went for. It's like, well, I'm really good at computing for the technical skills like that, but I'm really passionate about music and things like that, but I'm terrible at it. I can't understand how something's going on. I can't really hear it that well, but I love it. So at first I tried to do backstage theatre, all the technical theatre lighting and doing all the lighting rigs and theatre, things like that. As it turned out, it wasn't for me after a year of college of doing that. But I was just looking at what my strengths were, and in reality, that wasn't right. So I changed career, and I took to studying radiography. Again, it's just looking at my strength of my computing skill and applying that to something that I found to be a more structured environment and better for me than the arts was. So it's challenging. There's just like an infinite array of careers out there. And, I think 99% of people never know what they want to be when they grow up. So it's really challenging. But I would just kind of maybe try and sit down, just think of your strengths and just think, how can I apply that to different work areas? And you won't get it right first time. It wasn't right first time in my instance, but don't be deterred by that. Just try a few ideas and then you'll find something.